He wasn't a genius. In fact, everyone thought he was hopeless. But one simple conversation turned his failures into success. This is the story of Ethan, the boy who couldn't study until he learned how to learn. Hey, everyone. Welcome back. Today, I want to share this story that might just change how you look at your own challenges. So let's start at the beginning. Ethan was just an ordinary boy from a small town. He loved the simple things in life, watching birds soar through the sky, laughing with his friends, feeling the warmth of the sun. He had a good heart, a curious mind about the world around him, but when it came to school, he just struggled. And I mean, really struggled. His grades were consistently low, no matter how hard he tried, or rather, how hard he thought he was trying. The words on the page would blur, his mind would wander, and he'd end up feeling more confused than when he started. It wasn't long before his classmates started to notice. Whispers turned into open teasing. "Look, Ethan got another F," or "He's never going to pass." Day after day, these cruel remarks chipped away at his confidence. He started to believe them. He started to think, maybe I'm just not smart enough. Maybe I'm not meant to succeed. He'd sit in class, looking out the window, his heart heavy, feeling a deep, crushing sense of hopelessness. He felt like he was drowning in a sea of textbooks and equations, with no lifeline in sight. Every test was a battlefield he lost. Every assignment a mountain he couldn't climb. He felt utterly alone in his academic struggles, carrying the weight of perceived failure on his young shoulders. One afternoon, after another particularly disheartening test result, Ethan felt a pull. He lingered after class, watching as the other students hurried out, eager to escape the school day. His English teacher, Mr. Harris, was tidying up his desk. Ethan's heart pounded in his chest, a mixture of fear and a desperate tiny spark of hope. He slowly approached the desk, his voice barely a whisper. "Sir," he began, looking at his shoes, I can't focus. I feel so hopeless. I try, but nothing sticks." He braced himself for a lecture, for more disappointment. But instead, Mr. Harris looked up, a kind smile creasing the corners of his eyes. There was no judgment, only understanding. He leaned forward slightly, his voice gentle. "Ethan," he said, "I understand completely. Many bright minds feel the same way. But what if I told you that learning isn't about how smart you are, but how you approach it? Let me teach you 5 simple lessons, 5 lessons that will change not just how you learn, but how you see yourself." Ethan looked up, a glimmer of surprise and curiosity replacing the despair in his eyes. He agreed. He had nothing left to lose. The first lesson Mr. Harris shared was about calming the mind. He told Ethan, "Imagine a glass of muddy water. When you shake it, it's murky. You can't see through it, can you? But if you let it sit undisturbed, all the dirt settles to the bottom and the water becomes perfectly clear." He explained that our minds are often like that muddy water, full of worries, distractions, and racing thoughts. "Before you even open a book, Ethan," Mr. Harris advised, "take just 5 minutes. Find a quiet spot, close your eyes and just breathe. Focus on your breath going in and out. Don't try to stop your thoughts, just let them pass like clouds in the sky. Allow the mud to settle. A calm mind is a clear mind, ready to absorb new information." Ethan tried it, and though it felt strange at first, he noticed a subtle shift. The chaos in his head began to quiet. Next, Mr. Harris introduced lesson number 2, focusing on the present. He placed a small candle on his desk and lit it. "Now, Ethan," he said, "just look at the flame. Don't think about anything else, just the dancing light." Ethan found his mind still wanted to wander, jumping from what he had for lunch to what game he'd play later. But Mr. Harris gently reminded him, "When your mind wanders, and it will, simply bring it back to the flame, gently, without judgment." The goal isn't to never get distracted. It's to practice bringing your mind back to the present moment. This builds your mental muscle for focus, just like lifting weights builds physical muscle. This simple exercise helped Ethan realize that focus wasn't about an absence of distraction, but the ability to return to the task at hand. Lesson number 3 was a game changer for Ethan. Understand, don't memorize. Mr. Harris used an analogy. Imagine two objects, a hard, smooth rock and a soft, porous sponge. If you pour water on the rock, it just runs off, right? But the sponge, it absorbs the water, holding it deep within its structure. He explained, many students try to learn like a rock, letting information simply slide over the surface of their minds, trying to memorize facts without understanding. But true learning is about being a sponge. Don't just read words, try to imagine them. Ask why and how. Create mental pictures, connect new information to what you already know. When you understand something deeply, you don't need to force yourself to remember it. It becomes a part of you. This resonated with Ethan. He had always tried to just cram facts. Now, he started drawing diagrams, asking questions, and really trying to visualize concepts. Then came lesson number 4, break it down. Mr. Harris picked up a large, heavy wooden block. Ethan, he said, if you wanted to move this entire block by yourself, it would be incredibly difficult, maybe even impossible. But what if you had a saw and could cut it into smaller, manageable pieces? He smiled. Big goals, big tasks often feel overwhelming. That's why we procrastinate or feel defeated before we even begin. Instead of looking at an entire chapter, break it down into small paragraphs. Instead of seeing write an essay, think write one sentence. Small, consistent steps might seem insignificant, but they add up. Don't try to eat the whole elephant in one bite. Take one small, delicious bite at a time. Ethan realized he'd always felt paralyzed by the sheer size of his assignments. Now he had a strategy to conquer them piece by piece. Finally, Mr. Harris shared lesson number 5. Practice every day. He painted a vivid picture. Imagine 2 pots of seeds. One you water diligently every single day, just a little bit. The other you ignore all week, then try to drown with water on Sunday. He paused. Which one do you think will grow into a strong, healthy plant? Ethan knew the answer. Consistency beats intensity, Ethan, Mr. Harris affirmed. Even 20 minutes of focused study every day is far more effective than one massive, exhausting cram session once a week. Your brain needs regular nourishment to build those connections and solidify knowledge. Make learning a daily habit, even if it's just a little. This simple truth struck Ethan. He had always been a crammer, leading to burnout and forgetfulness. Armed with these 5 powerful lessons, Ethan started his transformation. He began his study sessions with 5 minutes of quiet breathing, letting his mind settle. When his thoughts drifted during reading, he gently brought them back, focusing on the words, just like he focused on the candle flame. He stopped trying to memorize and instead began drawing out concepts, asking questions, and imagining the stories behind the facts, truly becoming a sponge. He broke down his intimidating assignments into tiny, achievable steps, tackling one small part at a time. And most importantly, he committed to practicing every single day, even if it was just for a short period. The change wasn't instant, but it was profound. Slowly but surely, Ethan's focus improved. The information started to stick. His grades, which once seemed permanently stuck at the bottom, began to rise. But more importantly than the grades, something incredible happened within him. He started to enjoy learning again. The weight of hopelessness lifted, replaced by a quiet confidence. He realized he wasn't hopeless. He just hadn't been taught how to engage with learning in a way that suited him. He didn't become perfect, no one is, but he became better every single day, evolving into a diligent and self-aware student. Ethan's story is a powerful reminder for all of us. It shows that your past failures don't define your potential. It teaches us that small daily efforts, consistently applied, can grow into unimaginable success. It's about taking the time to calm your mind, understanding deeply rather than just memorizing, breaking down big challenges, and staying consistent with your efforts. Just like Ethan, you have the power within you to change your story. You can learn how to learn, overcome obstacles, and achieve your goals. Your journey to success might just be one simple conversation or one small shift in perspective away. If Ethan's story resonated with you, if it gave you a spark of hope or an idea to try, don't keep it to yourself. Share this video with someone who might need to hear it today, because one story, one simple message, truly can change a life. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more inspiring stories and tips. See you next time.